everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would pop up a quick video. I had the opportunity to pick up a stamp set from the Not Too Shabby Shop. If you go to the Not Too Shabby Shop, she's got like a rewards program. You can also use the N2S10 to get 10% off. There are some restrictions, but I was able to pick up this Picket Fence Studios set. It's called Walk, Crawl, or Run. It's from their brand new release, so that's why I was trying to hurry up and get this video up so that maybe you could be inspired by what inspired me. So what I did is this is a giant stamp, by the way, like fits, that's an A2 size card front there. It fits the whole thing. Like if you're looking for a super quick, fast, and in a hurry card, this might be the stamp to do that. It also has some really encouraging sentiments, but back to what I was doing. I stamped this on some Neenah Solar White cardstock with my ink on 3 blackout ink, and then I used my little yellow rag from Scrap Perfect to like rub over the top of my Misty because I didn't have long sleeves on when I stamped this. And I stamped it a few times because it's a brand new stamp and I didn't have the greatest of impressions. I could have totally like eliminated doing that by just stamping in or putting Versamark on my stamp first and then my blackout ink, but I also think my ink pad needs to be re-inked. But I also stamped it on some paper from a super old Die Cuts with a View paper pack. It's called the Rockstar Stack. Any grungy looking paper would work for this. Tim Holtz, it comes to mind with the grungy paper if you want to do this, but I can see these shoes in like any color combination. Like they have these shoes with unicorns on them. I mean, come on, you could paper piece this any way you want. So here is what I did. I didn't worry about the laces or any of the parts that are going to be white. I shaded the actual body of the shoes with some N markers. I went pretty dark too, all the way to N8 when I did this. My pattern paper here is a pretty dark pattern paper, so I wanted to make sure that I had good shadows. So I put these N8, N6, and I had to go down to the N3 because my N4 is dry and I had to write it on the buy a refill list. So my poor N4 is dry. But I just shaded these, and it's really super simple, and I didn't actually make sure I did the blending very nicely at all. I just kind of slapped the color down. It's pattern paper. It does not work the same as this Neenah cardstock. What I did here with the Neenah cardstock is I slapped some color down. I didn't actually shade very nicely at all either. I used my C markers. I did C4, C2, and C00, and my C2 also needs to be refilled, so that went on the refill list as well. And I just went where the artist had drawn all the little shading lines, and I added shading to there and then blended it out a little bit because it is supposed to be white, and I wanted to make sure that it did remain white. So I could have trimmed out the pattern paper and put it on top of my white shoes, but I didn't. I trimmed out the white parts, the laces and the toes of the shoes, and that's the part that I paper pieced. I just thought it would show up much nicer if I did it this way. I think it was probably easier for me to cut out too. And then I ran my Tombow marker just around the edges so that it would look like I did a really good job trimming that out. And then I paper pieced these onto my tennis shoes here. Now, one thing I will say is the way that the stamp is lined up, my pieces kind of went off the edge of my paper, and I did not trim them first, so they are going to hang over all weird and funny, and I'll trim them later. Before I stuck down this set of laces here, I was like, oh, I want to put some silver on those little grommets for the laces, so I used just a silver gel pen to fill that in. And I am sorry my head gets in the way. I am learning this new setup with the camera. I'm loving it, but I am learning. So I think sometimes you might see my head until I get this all figured out. So then I just glued down the second set of laces here and made sure everything was lined up. And you see how that's like sticking over the edge. So after I had it all done, I did trim it off and I left that off screen. And then I put this whole thing back in my MISTI and I stamped this tiny little sentiment on the shoestrings. And I thought it was really cute because it says follow your dreams, but it is super tiny. And then I used my Scrap Perfect bag and then I heat embossed this other very, very tiny sentiment on this black cardstock. The sentiments in this set are really tiny. The script, the font is really, really tiny. I didn't have any problems with strays or anything using that strap and tap is what I think it's called. So I mean, I'm liking that thing a lot. So here I just adhered down my main panel, added a little foam tape to my sentiment strip, which I cut out with the Simon Says Stamp sentiment strips, added a little angled end and put that on. Added the whole thing to a side folded A2 card base. I really like the way this side fold is. It's, I don't know, I like it. Anyway, here's some close-up shots. You can see that those patterns on that pattern paper really show through, and those shoes look really fun. I think I would totally wear them. I know a few people in my life that absolutely would wear them. And this is the kind of card that I would send to somebody just to encourage them. This whole set is full of very encouraging sentiments, and I think it's super fun, and I can see it used in so many different ways, and I am so excited to try something else. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Please like and subscribe and share, and as always, give cards generously. Bye!